Live.
La.
Ta-da.
All right then. Well, hello.
Hello, everyone. We're here. We have arrived.
Okay, so we're actually in the process of rolling ads for those people who are into ads.
We are in the process of rolling ads. We shall return anon.
Okay, okay. Now we're back. There we go.
Good. Welcome back to Unlawful Disorder, where I am going to sequentially take a sip from 4 different beverages because variety.
And by different, she means different flavors of gin.
Yes, I do. But really though.
This has got the making of a Monty Python sketch, you know that?
There's something really enjoyable about the level of variety in a beverage.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I had to say. Thanks.
I think so. Like a friend of mine posted a thing before. It was like the neurotypical desire. No, the
neurodiverse.
The neurodiverse more than at least 3 drinks on the go or something like that.
Yeah, you have to have. This one's for hydration. This one is for hydration, but also focus. This one is to wake up. And this one's for fun. You have to have a fun beverage. Like, what's the point of it if you know? Like, usually I'll have like something sparkling. It'll just sit in this cup.
Interestingly enough, with me, that's just not a thing I do. If I have 2 beverages on the go, it's almost invariably because I've misplaced 2 of them.
Yup.
Wait, does that mean you have 4 on the go? Because I will misplace 2 of them and then wonder where they've gone.
No, usually it's what I'll do is I'll think, did I pour myself a cup of coffee? So I'll go make myself another cup of coffee. And then I'll get distracted by damn near the same thing that got me the first time. I have literally set the second cup down beside the first cup and gone, oh, you dummy, there's the one you're looking for. And then 20 minutes been up at my desk going, didn't I pour myself a cup of coffee?
Yeah. And then you get another one, right? Because that's what I've done. And then you drink them all because you have kind of a relationship with coffee.
My usual trick is to like, I've run out of. I'm gonna get some more water, and then standing up, going to the kitchen, coming back, sitting down. Why don't I have water?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it! Go back, actually fill the cup, come back. Why don't I have water?
Yeah. Yeah. There it is.
Damn it! Actually, bring the cup with me.
Yeah. But you know what? On the positive side for me, that's how my laundry gets back upstairs.
I mean, not wrong.
I get the laundry done is because of those extra journeys, because I will forget that I was there for water and return with my laundry. Put my laundry down, put my laundry away, and then go, I'm thirsty.
Yeah. When I was running my company, one of the company expenses was actually went and got a very spiffy Keurig when they were relatively new on the market, and no one really understood the ecological disaster they represented. And one of the first questions my roommates asked is, "Why are you putting it in the kitchen? Why aren't you putting it in your office?" I said, "Because if I put it in my office, I'll never leave my office."
It's true though.
Put it in the kitchen, so I'm obligated to go up and down the stairs 3 times a day.
And that's Liam, my husband has very specifically said, it would make a lot of sense for us to put a little kitchenette up here because you spend so much time just going up and down the stairs trying to get things to and from the kitchen. And I'm like, yeah, but do you not want to see me? You want to spend time with me. It's the only way.
I had a previous housemate that was kind of like that, where I just wouldn't see them. Partly because, we worked very different schedules, but he would just be in his room, which was like a floor above, and I was like, assumed he was fine or whatever. But then one day, I get a call from him, like, "Hey, can you go up and check? I think I've gone away for he'd gone away for like a week or something, and he was like, I think I might have left the air conditioning on. Can you go and check? And I was like, yeah. And I went up, and I realized that he had basically a little kitchenette up in his room. Like he had like a big like thing of water that on his desk that he could just like fill every couple of days or something.
Mhm.
He had like a little fridge, and I was just like, this is why.
It's the mini fridge that I'm not willing. Mini fridge, and I've been suggested a toaster and a microwave, and I'm like, no, I would literally live up here.
Yeah.
We can't be doing this.
Wait a second. That's Pop-Tarts, coffee, and I can keep some yummy stuff in the fridge. Yeah, bathroom's literally a door down from the yeah, I would never.
There's a bathroom just there, and I do have a water situation. It's right there. And I have snacks. I keep snacks just there. Like realistically, I could live up here for a good solid week without needing to leave.
Hey, GM, welcome.
Hey, GM.
But yeah, it is one of those things where when you fit into our worldview that you know, I'm not somebody who particularly needs people. You know, as I've joked before, Chrissy and I both figured we're joking shortly after, you know, in April of 2020, you know, that awkward moment when you discover your preferred lifestyle has a medical name. You know, quarantine. What? I don't see a difference. Do you see a difference? No. So yeah, some things about forcing oneself to actually go see other people. Good idea.
Yeah. Sam, tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Sam.
Thanks. Jamie, tell us about you.
By the way, if this is a revelation to anyone at this point in the conversation, you're clearly new here, and
welcome. We're glad for you. I'm a voice actor and performer from Australia. Don't really have anything to speak. Oh, I'm currently being a guest on Monster Hearts.
Yes.
And so
yeah, you are.
Yeah. And that is gearing up. And there's gearing because it'll also be going on a little bit of a hiatus. So rushing to the midpoint.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying
You say
that.
rushing. No. Plodding. We're plodding to the midpoint because I slowed down.
It's a bit of a difference between the two shows is we generally have a quite a sort of like, you know, vaguely 3 hours we'll get this show done, whereas no one has that discipline.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I try to.
I
actively try to.
Oh, the number of
the record though, I think, was you guys you find folks had done what, an 8.5-hour show once in the second season.
Well, we did 7.5 last week. This week just gone, so.
Oh, good grief!
I think the point was also at one point it was quite long, but also had a second episode like less than a day later.
Yeah.
To just be like, well, we know we're going to get this finished, and so I realized that we have to sleep and maybe eat, but
these irritating inconveniences to our gaming life.
But yeah, it's good. It is a lot of fun. It's a lot to please pace yourself when watching. It is broken up on.
Yeah, on YouTube I break it up because I'm like, not one person in the world should sit for the amount of time that we did. Not one single person should sit for that long.
Yeah.
And yet we did. And yet there we were. And it was fun. And now we have resolved the Reaper.
Okay, definitely have to watch this one then. Yes,
we haven't resolved the Reaper. That I was trying to find a way of saying it, then realized that it could well be spoilers, and I don't want that, so I stopped talking. And now it sounds incorrect. We've got a number of people who are in Darkest Self. That's all I'll say.
Oh dear.
And we thought we'd solved one, but in fact, what we'd done instead was created more.
Oh dear.
You ever go, oh look, yeah, we've solved it. You're not in Darkest Self anymore. While we're at it, we should just check who else might be in Darkest. Why did I say it? Why did I say
close.
it?
I did appreciate at the very top of the episode when Daddy took a bit like our main problem is we don't know why this is a problem. Like we've got to figure this out. And Phoebe going, wait, you don't know that? Because I know that. And it's like, how long have you known that for us? And Phoebe was just like, I think since before we started this character. It was part of the backstory. So always, which was a season ago, and they've just never talked about it.
When I tell you,
yes.
I, as an MC, have spent 2 seasons trying to get these characters to talk to each other. And they finally did.
Well, it is a game inherently about abuse and mistrust. Oddly enough, you're not going to get a lot of open heart conversations that way.
It's going to be that level of secrecy, but also that level of like, I don't know, just never asking questions. I mean, I know the players. I knew that there would not be questions asked, but I felt like that one was kind of just one that was quite surface and liable to come up in conversation. And yet, no, 2 seasons in, we got that.
Good storytellers will keep things hidden as long as they can.
And I must be incredible.
I do. It is a fun, I guess, character arc where it is a game where it's like you're just not good people to varying
I was just going to
extents.
say it's fundamentally a game, about toxic behaviors, about mistrust, about emotional.
Because a lot of like your base moves you can do are manipulative, but then when you level up, you can choose, and some of us have, to take what they call growing up moves, where you get versions of those same moves that are now not toxic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we've gone, first season, everyone had the toxic stuff. Second season, some people don't have that. And now in the third season, where we've combined it with Monsters of the Week, for Danny in particular, their character is specifically about asking questions. So it's been like it's been a slow burn, but they got there.
but she's also playing the gumshoe, which is about asking questions.
That's what I mean.
Oh right, we got to the point where it's like, well, and it's funny because I very specifically said to Danny, oh yeah, so like, in these 2 weeks, Noelle would, like, one of the hunters would have taught Margot how to ask better questions, because that's very important. That is an important skill. So she would have spent time trying to teach Margot how. And you know what? That's where your Monster of the Week, like, information will come from, is that process of training. And so here we are. We did it. Everything's great.
I did appreciate. Sorry.
A plot point that was supposed to turn up in season 2 and possibly drive us straight through season 2 and 3 has turned up now, midway through season 3, and I feel vindicated. I feel so good. I'm so glad.
All right.
I did when I was just like, I need, like, what is one of these Monster of the Week ones that are going to make sense for Rafe and also be helpful? And I was like, oh, this one where he gets all these bits of knowledge and he sort of knows stuff, and that sort of tracks that he's been around. But one of the things is you get like it was like a haven. And I was like, I get all these extra things, and we came up with with why, and I thought that was fine, and everything's whatever. And then when I actually introduced the other characters, the first thing they're like, no, we've been specifically told that no one does this. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I kind of love it. But I missed that.
Jamie, tell us about you.
Yeah, let's
me?
talk about Jamie for a bit here.
I am unfortunately not a tragic high school monster. monster. I did just watch First Kill, and that's,
I haven't seen the whole season. Don't.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about it. It is perfectly indulgent in that genre, and if you like that genre of things, you should watch it. I'm Jamie Collette. I'm a voice actor and director. You can find me on Twitter at Muffin Manifesto or on my website, jamie-collette.com. And since we last played, the official Audible audiobook of The Slob's Guide to the Perfect Job, a audiobook which I narrated in full, has launched on Amazon.
Yay! Congratulations.
It is a very funny jaunt about a slob who finds a magic YouTube video that turns him into a A-grade cyclist, and he ends up going on the Tour de France, etc. It's bizarre and very funny, and you don't need to know anything about cycling in order to enjoy it. In fact, if you know anything about cycling, you will know more than the main character does. So
because that's how magic works.
Exactly.
I said you were competent. I didn't say you were educated. Wonderful. I like that.
What about you, Michelle?
Oh, wow. Okay, Michel Vaillancourt. You can catch up with me on Twitter. I'm MichelV69. And currently, two writing projects on the go. I finally have succumbed to a vague little bit of nagging from a couple of friends of mine to try my hand at doing a paranormal romance. So I'm working on that. Still working on my. I have also decided, just out of a absolute streak of perverse, because I don't never write anything easy for myself, that I'm using a completely different point of view than I'm writing, and I'm completely flipping what most people would consider the gender norms for the setting on their head. So the working title is a guy's guide to the afterlife, because all of the actual people with power are all femme presenting. Guys are useless, unstable. They do not cross the afterlife barrier very well. Most of them just get used as dumb infantry. This is the one guy who's of vague value, and so say written from his perspective, and he's dealing with a nun as his opposite number. And that's it's so far 10,000 words in, and I'm doing an awful lot of giggling while writing, so that's usually a good sign for me. So yeah. Dumb jokes, hijinks, doesn't take itself too seriously, but should be fun. Still working on Dark Sky Dark Future, which is my cyberpunk for Open Legend. That's coming along, but good grief, formatting's a slog. Ugh. Page formatting is a slog. So, but progress is being made, and recovering from a back injury, and finally going to physio. So that's going to take literally a pain off my neck, and hopefully I'll be able to get back into my routine. I haven't been able to do a whole bunch of anything for the past month, and it's kind of been bumming me out. So yeah. Looking forward to gaming with you folks tonight, though. Or your morning, my evening.
I mean, does it matter? I'm prepared.
You're covering either schedule.
Yeah, I'm
Pick your
prepared.
12 hours.
This time next week, it will make sense that I'm drinking this one, not this one.
Mm-hmm. You'll be in Toronto. You'll be drinking both of them simultaneously.
Yeah. I will be drinking. Yeah, I'll be drinking both simultaneously, possibly in the form of one beverage.
Yes, that is a Toronto thing.
Oh.
Montreal, the one that got me was the first time I went to a goth club. I asked for snake bite, and they had no idea what I was talking about. So I said, okay, well, what's the drink du jour? And it was 151 vodka, Grey Swans. It was good vodka, but 151 vodka, that's 70 proof, with a shot of Red Bull.
Zing. That's what that is. That's a don't take any other medication for a week. Zing.
Wow. That will wake you up.
You want some hydration with your...
You ever want your body to go fast, but your organs to go slow?
That's like smashing into a wall.
I was
Sounds
so
like it tastes
taken-
good, though, is the thing.
I was just gonna say and Grey Goose is actually pretty good vodka. I was so taken by the entire thing. I've actually immortalized that as a series of substances in my cyberpunk world called party pops. It just, yep, stimulants and alcohol mixed. No bad can come of this, right?
Sure.
You do that so well, Chantel. Press the button so we can go live.
Drink safely. Drink
Or we
safely.
can- or we
Hey,
can
I
start
didn't introduce myself.
Oh, well, introduce yourself then.
I'm
Introduce
Chantel.
yourself.
I'm working on a couple of games. Bard RPG is one of them.
Mhm.
And I will be creating a personality quiz to help people with the choosing of their characters.
Ooh.
So character creation, you can base it off of what you want to base it off of course, but you could also use a personality quiz to help you decide what kind of a character would best suit you or would best fit what you want to play.
I
That's
can't
kind
wait
of
to
the
see
idea.
that. That sounds
That's fun.
fantastic.
Yeah, and it's one of my academic interests, which is
Mhm.
personality. Which, funnily enough, my second thing is my first paper got approved, so I'm excited because like I'm gonna be a published like academic author now, so that's fun.
Awesome. Congratulations. That is amazing stuff.
Yeah. And beyond that, Daybreak Prep, which I've already been through extensively. That's fun also. And we will be playing on Saturday 5. I'm gonna say 5:30 p.m. No, that's 5:30 p.m. PST. I'm after 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's what I'm looking for. Time zones. Good fun. If you're in Australia, Eastern time, that's 10:30 a.m.
Gotcha.
On Sunday.
Now I can push a button. Huh?
Now you can
On
push a
Sunday.
button.
That's right. It's another day, a day later. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's push button.
Yes.
Yeah. We have returned.
Very good. All righty. Who would like to start out with the summary of where we left off?
Not me. I need to get my book.
Okay.
Oh no, thanks.
Mhm.
I'm back.
The super scoot was cute.
I did it.
Nobody noticed a thing, I'm sure of it.
Nobody
So,
saw
yeah.
a thing. It was so
No,
fast.
absolutely not. All right.
I'm still not going first.
Did you want to, Jamie, or should I?
Feel free.
All right. Oh no, what have I done? We finally have set off from Cliffspider.
Mm-hmm.
After the city was locked down under martial law, and so which was fine for us because we had prep to do anyway for the journey. Mostly on Spider's End, but convinced Spider's dad to lift the martial law. And then we're able to go after a surprise meeting. It shouldn't have been a surprise meeting with Alexandre's grandmother, because
time, it's tricky.
because Maisel took the absent-minded floor. I took that because it's me. It was like, that's going to be easy to roleplay because the current situation. Though, it didn't end up with Alexandre's grandmother killing Alexandre, which seemed to be a legitimate fear from her. Possibly because of asking vague yes/no questions to a vague superpower. But we are actually on what could be the, I guess, final leg of this journey to the plateau. That we are actually heading to the plateau, to the center of the plateau. Everything has sort of led to this, as it were. And our new traveling convoy got to meet here von Rissel, which was a lot of fun because everyone was like, "We're about to meet a dragon." Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a dragon. So, but it also meant that now he has learned what Maisel learned, and have to figure that out now. I guess figure out what the implications of that. Though the immediate implications of it's like, it's probably not as bad as we thought if we die. An odd thought to have. But here we are.
All right. Alexandre, armed with your trusty book, what do you recall?
La Chanson is the guardian, and I have to get inside a mountain, and my grandmother has invited herself on the trip in order to get me inside a mountain. We also are traveling with a lot of people, a carnivorous plant, a person made of stone, and a fucking dragon. My life sounds like some weird fucked up fantasy story.
Odd that.
They say looking directly at the camera.
Yup.
And sentient music told me that my grandmother would try to kill me. That has yet to come to pass. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, just that it has not happened yet. But also, I had crepe and a chocolate, so you know, not everything is forgiven, but it tasted good.
What about you, Spotter? How are things?
Good. I finally got our caravan on the road. The people I hired seem to be even more hardy and resilient than I expected. I admittedly didn't warn them about the very large carnivorous flying lizard in the itty bitty living space that we brought along. But everyone was surprisingly cool with it, and I didn't even have to track down any deserters during the evening. Nor did anyone seem to report to anyone else, which I was expecting. At least one loose-mouthed spy. We'll keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I contracted an ex-military officer and his crew. I also contracted a hero of the Confederacy to join our brigade. Never mind that she's Alexandri's grandmother. That's the point. A finer caravan guard has never been seen on the plains. And yeah, the early part of our journey has been fairly uneventful, probably because of the size of our entourage and their well-prepared armoredness. I think we might have turned away any smaller raiding parties. We came across an old Confederate tower towards the end of our second day's journey, or halfway through our second day's journey.
Yeah, around lunch. Just
around lunch. And I thought it was a poignant symbol of the life we're trying to improve by this wild escapade.
Right. You folks had finished up your trip, as I recall. You stopping for the night, not far from the edge of one of the one of the local tribes. You're traveling up the river valley towards the interior. The Skyinville Plain is roughly shaped like an inverted Y, and you are traveling up the southeastern arm of it, heading to the northwest to the interior. It's if you have, right now you're traveling through plains and grassland. Essentially, the river is rather Nile-like along its borders. That it fairly shallow angle, lots of lush grass, and then it rises very rapidly up into a surrounding drylands. So, much easier to travel along the riverbank. Now that green belt, when I say Nile-like, I don't mean it's 10 miles wide. I mean it's more like several hundred meters wide, but it's pronounced. It's very obvious. I would say it probably averages about a half a kilometer. Kind of idea on either side. There's if everyone could just get along, as it were, there'd be probably ample farmland just in the river valley itself, just farming those floodplains. So yes, you've stopped not too far from the where one of the local tribes' territories begin. One sec while I grab the map, so I'm sure I have the right name. So, what? Of course, you know, with the evening stop comes a couple of campfires, because obviously enough it is the nature of military folk to not want to hang out too close to the people paying them. Mostly because they're just not used to that even being a thing, so it's just almost an automatic response. There's one fire set up, it gets built for you, and then there's one fire that gets off to another side set up for everyone else, sort of thing. But yes, so a couple hours, sun's been down for a little bit, and we find our heroes sitting around the campfire with Oat and Scramble doing acrobatics in amongst the sparks, showing off for Elena. And what is the subject of conversation at the fire?
So you're fairly certain that this plant won't eat any of our caravan?
Am I under oath? It feels like I'm under oath.
No, I'm just trying to gauge the level of internal risk as opposed to external risk.
Oh, there's a lot.
Okay.
I
Maybe
mean,
we keep that one to ourselves. The dragon, I feel like that was worth sharing. It would have been hard to ignore. But
I would hope that they wouldn't ignore a carnivorous plant approaching them.
True.
Are they not military?
Well, that's a little bit of a gray area.
They're generally at least stronger than me, right?
True, yes. No, I mean, they're all well-trained individuals. That gnome girl, probably not as strong as you, but also probably not as powerful a magician as you. But
why is the gnome girl here?
She is a wizard.
But why
she's
is she
not
here?
the chosen of a god. I mean, they're wizard.
You're saying that like it's significant in some way.
Well,
she's a wizard, Alexandri.
She protects them from things that they can't hit.
They can hit the plant.
Yes, the plant wasn't the things that I was. I'm just saying she's not stronger than you.
I mean, maybe you should have contracted someone stronger.
Spider just like looks at Helena.
Awkward. In front of my grandmother? Really? Conversation? In front of... Everything is like a little bit more awkward in life.
There's going to be well, I think on that note, I'll be off to go drinking with troops later, folks. And he strolls off towards the other campfire.
Is your grandma ever like legit cooler than you? Are you ever the embarrassing one?
It was supposed to be your cool coming of age road trip, but no.
She should come and show me up. Better at all of the cheerleading than I am. Where did I learn it from? Come on. It is still weird having Grommer here.
I can imagine.
Can you?
It would be very strange for me if my grandmother was here. Not least because she's dead.
Well, yeah, that's the part to me that seems like the primary issue for yours. That's almost a bigger problem than what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, if your dead grandmother were here, she'd be the fourth weirdest person in the group. And that's only if we don't include the plant.
I was wondering if you were actually. Well, I'm still suspicious of her, but it's kind of nice having a face that I know.
Am I chopped liver?
You change your face so much that you may as well be. If you came up to me and said, "Look, I'm chopped liver," I would have to accept it.
That would be a very convincing story.
And then I would get your name wrong anyway. It'd be like Sears liver or something. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I think there was a Devilkin trader from the Empire called Chopped Liver.
Okay.
Not to be taken for granted.
I don't know if you're talking about my grandmother or the chopped liver now.
Have you ever eaten chopped liver?
Absolutely not.
Have you ever had pate?
Yes.
Just looks at Mysel.
That's not chopped though, that's spread.
Of course. How foolish of me.
You should be more specific with your questions. I ask a lot of questions. They are very specific, and so I get good answers from them, you know?
As he broke Sam.
Such
a like it's like an out of character thing, but it's like liar. Liar.
You don't know. No one's in Alexandra's mind when she's asking these questions. No one knows.
I'm just going to say there's just this still it's one of those moments where just the sitting here thinking that is a delightful piece of lack of awareness, and I can't tell if she's having the rest of the group on or if she actually believes that.
That was the breaking. That was just like it has been like from day one.
Alexandra asks fantastic questions in her mind.
Alexandre believes yes. And does it.
In her mind.
In her
Yeah.
mind.
Are you feeling confident?
About what?
What?
What am I supposed to feel confident about?
You know, what we're doing.
Spider, at which point in any of this journey have I sounded or said that I am confident about any of what is happening?
Yeah, okay. But what about now?
Since you last asked? Oh,
Well, sometimes it's not so important to believe in ourselves as it is to believe in the people who believe in us.
where'd you hear that bullshit?
A mama's tale when I was young, but I think it's a nice sentiment.
You and my soul technically shouldn't exist. Arguably, you are potentially figments of my imagination. Oh my god. I'll think
She's
about that
starting
later.
to sound more like my father.
I think you need a better imagination.
The plant resents that, by the way. It's going to go sulk. Besides, the gnome looks cute. I mean, tastes
Taught
cute.
it English? God damn it!
No, it's communicating with her mentally.
The plant's more real. She made the plant. She knows the plant's definitely 100% real, whereas we've got one time genie and one, like, double-sided playing card.
I'm not sure which of us is which.
Yes, exactly. You know what? You're right. Shit, I need a better imagination.
Miles has been a little bit distracted, but that does make him laugh. And he sort of says, I don't think, like, without meeting any of us, if you tried to describe even one of us to another person, it would be an effort to get them to believe that we're real.
One of them
Like-
is a thief. One of them is a kid. And the other one's the dragon. The dragon's the hardest part. But once they've met me, I feel like they'll probably believe anything.
Right? Like, if they accept you, the rest is just, that might as well also be true.
That's if I can get further than, oh yes, I hear sentient music, but like only since I turned 18.
The music being the literal song of the world.
Yeah, if I go that far, I won't. I don't think I would get that far if I'm trying to get to the point of describing you also.
Yeah. I think you have to face it. We're a weird bunch.
I never disagreed with that. I just. In answer to your question, Spider, no, I'm not confident because I don't know what I'm supposed to be confident about. There is either going to be a decision or a moment. I don't know what it is. I cannot prepare for it. I don't know when it's going to happen. What if I miss the moment? Then we're in a volcano.
potentially surrounded by an army of Orkin and Dragon, and my brother turned evil.
Exactly. And that's before Cavs McGee. And,
She's busy.
actual deities that are offering me souls to drink. So no, I'm not
Sorry,
confident.
wind that one back for me.
Hmm?
Are we not part of that conversation?
No.
You know what? I'm not sure I need to know.
Yeah. The god of slaughter?
The Fiend of Slaughter.
The fiend of slaughter? Yeah.
Sure.
I had a conversation with them.
Oh,
Offered
that
me
go?
sparkling soul. I said, no, thank you. I took the glass. I held the glass, but I said, no, thank you. Because, you take the glass, well, you don't walk into a situation. You don't have to drink from it, but you do have to take it, It's polite.
Perfect manners, Alexandru. Perfect.
Romer,
She apparently
Alexandru.
can't hear you. She's busy chit-chatting with a few folks over at the other fire, and apparently so engrossed that she didn't hear you call her.
Alexandri goes over to her, taps her on the shoulder.
Oh, you startled me, she says.
Can I talk to you for a moment, please?
Certainly, I'll be right back. By the way, there's an awful lot of cards around the table, around the fire, and there seems to be it's a bizarre melange. It's a game actually played out of the Empire originally, but it's just sort of found its way everywhere. It is chess only played with cards is the best way of explaining it. And to make things more awkward, because the Empire never does anything easily, and the Deliverance can always improve on it. It's a 4-player game. So instead of
Gloomhaven, isn't it? It's just Gloomhaven.
So instead of 8 squares to a side, it's 16 to a side with 4 players, one on each side of the table. And
Kind of cool.
you've all trying to the objective is to it's essentially it's chess, King of the Hill, and poker.
King of the Hill.
The objective is to control the center of the board.
I see.
4-player chess is a bizarre variant, by the way. And
yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. So you stroll off while the other 3 that she's playing with are sitting there looking into absolute horror at the last thing she did to the board before she got up.
Alexandra will go back to the rest of them.
What's on your mind, my heart?
While we were in the city, we went to a ritual to the Fiend of Slaughter.
She very visibly puts a finger over her mouth to prevent herself from commenting and motions for you to continue.
Were you ever offered a soul?
She looks around. Is Spider drinking anything by chance?
No, certainly not.
So she's going to look over at Spider, look at his hands, almost disappointed, pull a flask out of a pouch, knock a shot back, and screw the tap back on. What did you just ask me?
If you were ever offered a soul by the Fiend of Slaughter, is the full sentence that I didn't say all of.
Wow. I can't say that was an experience of mine. No. I've been dealing with much more pedestrian things like counts and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh,
Do I want some background on this?
I don't want to say her name. There was someone.
I know who the Fiend of Slaughter is. If you don't have to use the name.
Okay. And his priestess? I don't want to use the name. I think she can.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. No. Okay. So you. Okay. So hang on. Let me try and reconstruct this. While in Clift Spider, during a civil insurrection, and being hunted by somebody's charming father, and being impersonated by the rebellion, you decided to go hang out during a sacrificial ritual at the Temple of Slaughter with the High Priestess, and were offered a glass of souls. Did I get that right?
It was just one soul, but when you say it like that.
There's going to be this long pause. She's going to look at Spider and look at and look at. I keep wanting to say Heyo, but I mean Mysol, and look at Mysol, and then gesture at her. Were you two there?
We weren't invited.
We were physically present. We were not part of the conversation.
Okay, at least you had the sense to bring friends with you.
Oh, we had a whole team. Veritable mob.
Extra points. Wow. That's big stuff. Yeah.
She's been on our ass for a while, to be honest.
So that didn't happen to you?
No. Let's be honest. If you put me in a room with the High Priestess of Slaughter, there's going to be a corpse on the floor.
Does that make you the High Priestess of Slaughter if you do that?
I don't know how the promotion system works, but I'll decline as required.
It was an interesting conundrum for me being in the Temple of Slaughter. I figured that actually slaughtering more people might not be exactly conducive to, slowing anything down.
No, I think for now I do not want to know how you were winding up having a conversation with the Archfiend themselves. I think I'm just going to skip that entire part of the discussion for now. Pretty sure I just don't want to know that answer right yet.
I think he was hungry.
Do be careful. The fiends don't. What's the best way of putting it? They're a lot longer lived than we are, and your idea of, oh, that was a long time ago, doesn't necessarily match to their way of looking at things. And a passing interest can get really awkward.
to I just wanted to know if the person sacrificing themselves was doing it out of choice, you know?
And what would you have done if it had? If they had said, no, I've changed my mind.
Stop
Or
it.
no, I'm doing this again. Well, you know, you say that with such conviction, I'm pretty sure you could.
Have to try.
That's always it, isn't it? If it's the right thing to do, you have to try. She nods.
Sounds like deliverance talk to me. And he just stands up and walks out and goes over to the other fire.
I mean, it's not quite deliverance talk because it might not be a good thing to do. Just might be the right thing to do.
That's one of those funny things, isn't it? Sometimes good and right don't line up very well.
No.
Sometimes, she says, playing with she got a stiletto that she keeps tucked in here, and she's kind of just idly tossing it. It's a nervous habit. Just every once in a while, the best thing for the good guys is to have a bad guy willing, or girl, willing to do the right thing. Because sometimes the good folks in the equation, by definition, can't. That doesn't make anyone's individual shoulders any lighter, though, I find. Oh, I was a terrible person for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
Yes, but you were still a terrible person. But that's part of being an adventurer, I suppose.
Everyone calls us adventurers.
Why aren't you on an adventure? You're doing it wrong then. It's the whole point of living of not having a decent bath for a week at a time. Just a bad camping trip, otherwise.
No, maybe. I don't know why she is still following, but she is not happy with me because
with very little of what I know, but what I do know of the kind, it's either jealousy or fear.
I don't think she's used to hearing no either.
so she's angry.
Spoiled children. But ultimately, that falls back into one of the two first categories. Afraid of someone powerful enough to say no, or jealous of someone powerful enough to say no. A lot of people, well, There's a certain group of individuals you will find who mistake power for power. And what I mean by that is, just because you are powerful to some degree doesn't make you omnipotent. But there's some people who just delude themselves into thinking that a sufficient amount of mortal power is the same thing as divine power. And when they run into something or someone that reminds them that actually that's not how it works anymore. It hasn't worked that way in several hundred years, as far as we can tell. They get really grumpy about it. Sounds like you're. Sounds like your friend, your new friend there is one of those.
I think we're going to have to kill her. Probably.
She's likely won't give you a choice. That's a funny thing about people like that. I've met a couple, she says. They're incapable of living within the constraints of the world they have. And if they can't have the world they want, they'd rather have nothing at all. Because that's, well, the dead regret nothing. The dead mourn nothing. Suicide by adventurer used to be the joke amongst the crowd when I was your age. Some idiot would get themselves all hopped up on power or whatever, be it political, be it military, be it finance, whatever, and eventually they'd do something sufficiently stupid that a bunch of adventurers would show up, trouncing on them, and say, right then, off the chains you go, and they would do something to provoke the adventurers into killing them. Suicide by adventurer. Because they just can't deal with the world that they don't own. They build themselves up an illusion of a place where they're the biggest thing. They're the biggest predator in the kiddie pool. And when they find out they're not really all that in a bag of chips, she shrugs. The problem with amassing an awful lot of power is you either run out of friends, or you accumulate people who, works out to be the same thing. Eventually, you wind up in a position where no one wants to tell you the truth because for fear of getting electrocuted or sacrificed or immolated or tossed off an airship or whatever.
I don't intend to do any of those things.
Good. I would deeply appreciate that.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things to do when you get, as you become someone who actually is powerful, is listen to the people who remind you that you probably had to put your pants on one leg at a time this morning.
Yeah.
You think it sounds obvious. You're surrounded by some remarkably talented people, all of whom, from what I can see, gestures over at Spider, you're all pretty good for each other. You keep each other honest. And full hard company. Yeah. He may tell you things you don't want to hear, but you will listen eventually.
I like this lady.
And he's the same thing with you. You're the same thing with him. There are times he needs someone to grab him by the collar and shake and say, look, congratulations, you can warp time. Don't forget that you had to go to the bathroom earlier.
I don't want to think about that, though. Sounds
The
gross.
point is that when you can lob fireballs around, immolate mountains, turn into a dragon, etc., etc., someone needs to be around to remind you that there are little details which are inescapable, and those people are your friends. And when you run out of them, well, there's not really a lot left to anchor you to reality.
Omer,
And that's
I am not anchored to reality.
Oh, good gracious, girl! Of course you are.
No. The dragon and the child are two different people. That's not a good reality.
I didn't say it was a good reality. I said you were anchored to it. We don't get to pick the quality we get, okay? I said it was valuable to remain anchored to it.
I mean, technically, I don't turn into a dragon, but the point is still stands. It's easy to forget or lose sight of the importance of the individual, I guess. And get a little caught up in your own grandness.
Well, what I mean, please understand, I'm not a good girl, never have been. And I've done a few things which were, let's just say that morally gray is being far too kind. But I always had my friends to let me know when I'd crossed the line. And I was always willing to listen to them because I always knew that if a large set of mechanical hands picked me up and said, don't do that, there's probably a really good reason for it. If I suddenly, while darting forward, found my bootlaces tied together, there was probably a really good reason for that, Marcus. That's what your friends are for. And if you can't trust the other folks in your adventuring group to let you know when you're towing up to a line that no one wants you to cross, then you're well on your way to becoming a tyrant. I don't know what to tell you, my dear. The ability to blow up a mountain, or to breathe fire while hovering in the air, or to jump from one side of a battlefield to the other while tossing sharp-pointed objects around. Those are just tools. No one questions a blacksmith's hammer.
All of this is great, but when you have a litter of angry cats following you around to make sure you're the only one that does something, why is my life like this?
Well, let's conduct a quick thought experiment. How would you like all of this, all of your power, everything you know, right up including the glass of bubbly soul, to maybe have been, I don't know, presented to someone maybe like Eleanor Edgewater?
No.
That's why it's yours.
What? Because I'm not stupid?
I mean, gestures vaguely at Fiend Priestess. Yeah.
You have to understand my heart that once the cards are on the table and the pieces start moving, That's it. You're committed. Why the cards came up that way and why the other 3 people at the table moved the way they did, that's not your problem. You don't have any control over that. All you've got is the cards you've got and the pieces you've got. And you can spend all of your time regretting that, or you can kick their ass.
I don't regret it. I just wish I had more something.
It's funny, I was thinking the same thing just the other day. I was saddling up a horse, getting ready to ride putting a set of horseshoes onto an animal I hadn't looked at in, we'll use the phrase, a while, and thinking to myself, I wish I'd spent more time riding lately. Probably going to need that real soon now. A little while after that, I was hanging upside down off of a rooftop thinking to myself, probably haven't been practicing my gymnastics enough lately. Shouldn't have missed that jump. A little while after that, I was getting accosted by a bunch of street thugs because I looked too much the prissy lady at the time, and I had wandered into the wrong neighborhood without realizing it. Thought to myself, a while ago, there was once upon a time I would have maybe done a little bit of research before going wandering the streets at 2 o'clock in the morning by myself. But you're always wishing for the things you don't have, by definition. And just so you have something to look forward to, I'm still doing it.
Yay.
She chuckles and she has a sip from her hip flask again.
Great.
You have everything you need. That's how you got this far.
And I got this far because there are cats following me.
That's part of what you need, apparently. And what you don't have, your friends do. That's the way the world works.
So maybe it's worth considering that if the worst comes to worst, Spider can teleport poop.
It's a possibility, she says with a giggle, takes another sip. I'm going back to my game. Ta-ta. She strolls off.
Alexandre has been considering, just vaguely in the back of her mind for the last, since it was said that, Spider moves really quickly. So, could just, toilet in one area, but, be over there. That's how Alexandre sees what's happening with Spider. It's if only half of Spider moves at a time, then...
What?
And this is why Elena drinks. Again!
Why Chantel drinks. Alexandre, why?
I feel like Alexandre spent too much time with Lucas.
That's it. There it is.
Yeah, Spider's just sort of been wandering around with the mercenary camp. He talked to their captain for a bit before the captain's boyfriend, who was a little too drunk, dragged him off to a tent somewhere, and Spider walked past, I think, the kid. What's the kid's name? the kid who
The young
was
bard. The young bard.
yeah who
Yes.
wants to be a bard.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's hanging on every word of the gnome wizard girl who's like talking about sometime she saved a group of people from some sort of evil necromancer or something stupid like that, and he's like drawing a picture in his book of her like romanticized as like this
Yes, absolutely.
heroic, and Spider like comes up next to him. It's like, that was a nice drawing you got there, kid. I'm sorry that I ended up hiring the lady who beat up those friends of yours, but she's very capable.
He's going to chuckle. Let's just say that a few people have been hiding under tarps and behind barrels every time she walks by, and it's been funny as hell. He says.
He like smiles and ruffles the kid's hair and just moves on. I think maybe would it have been possible for one of the people we brought along to be one of the orc cooks from the...
Yeah, sure. I'm fine with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and Spider approaches the cook who's done for the evening. Everyone's fed and whatever and happy, and he says, "Do you know much about the folk from this part, the Blessed Rock?"
He nods. Good people. Territorial, but not nearly as bad as the High Hammer.
Good to know.
Well, the High Hammer mark their territory, and they brook no excuses. The Blessed Rock, don't bother them; they won't bother you. They're busy.
We saw some heads in the hills earlier today, but I had a feeling that might be the case.
Well, keep in mind, you look awfully Confederate, he says with a smile. Which is to say, you don't look like me at all.
Well,
they're probably just checking to see if you had a banner flying, or just how many spears you were dragging along behind you. But you don't look anything military.
Yeah, I have a feeling, from what I've heard, that we might have more trouble further down the river.
And almost on cue, there is this roaring, guttural growl. But the problem is it has that echonance that sounds more like thunder than it does like speech. You know how like thunder sounds like it's way the hell over there and at the same time fills the area around you? Yeah, it's that same. It's the same thing, only it's just...
Cool.
The cook looks at the fry pan in his hand, looks in the direction of wherever that sound was, looks back at you, says, "I'll go get my kitchen knife." And I think I would like to take a quick break and then we'll come back and deal with that little detail.
Nice.
Sounds great. Let's do it. We'll be back soon.
All right.
Why hands?
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
Think they might be afraid.
You look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, after that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds. And they looked at me and said, no.
You're sure he's not gonna eat me?
He's not gonna eat you.
Okay, I'm a friend then.
Depends
In
on
that
your
case,
answer.
It's not the name that's on the bounty, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. Now I just have to remember to respond to it.
Well, you'll do that, won't you, Aerith? Aerith,
Are you going to eat them?
Considers it.
By the way, you have no clue what she's on about. Like, you've never seen one of these things before.
he's a vegan!
oh, what?
Definitely don't know what that is.
I don't care what he is. He's got big teeth.
You do have big teeth. Nothing.
Hugo's grasp of the trade tongue is
Oh,
body.
do you? Oh, do you? What do you eat them?
Sort of looks back up. I will not consume that person.
Could you be a little more generic and just say you're not going to consume anyone in the city as well? Just to make it easier.
That'd be great.
Sort of reverting back to Elvish, like,
Just try.
what language?
know?
I'm not gonna eat people.
I know you're not going to eat people.
Language is hard.
I know. Just say it the way I'm telling you to say it. I'm not going to eat the city.
I'm not gonna eat the city.
Yes.
I'm not gonna eat the city. I'm not gonna eat the city.
Sam,
Mental image got too funny.
Why hands?
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
You.
Think and be afraid.
You look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, after that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds. And they looked at me and said, no.
You're sure he's not gonna eat me?
He's not gonna eat you.
Okay, I'm a friend then.
Depends
In
on
that
your
case,
answer.
It's not the name that's on the bounty, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. Now I just have to remember to respond to it.
Well, you'll do that, won't you, Aerith? Aerith,
Are you going to eat them?
Considers it.
By the way, you have no clue what she's on about. Like, you've never seen one of these things before.
he's a vegan!
oh, what?
Definitely don't know what that is.
I don't care what he is. He's got big teeth.
You do have big teeth. Nothing.
Hero's grasp of the trade tongue is
Oh,
body.
do you? Oh, do you? What do you eat them?
Sort of looks back up. I will not consume that person.
Could you be a little more generic and just say you're not going to consume anyone in the city as well? Just to make it easier.
That'd be great.
Sort of reverting back to Elvish, like,
Just try.
what language?
know?
I'm not gonna eat people.
I know you're not going to eat people.
Language is hard.
I know. Just say it the way I'm telling you to say it. I'm not going to eat the city.
I'm not gonna eat the city. I'm
Yes.
not gonna eat the city. I'm not gonna eat the city.
Sambro.
Mental image got too funny.
Why hands?
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
You.
Think don't be afraid.
You look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, after that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds. And they looked at me and said, no.
You're sure he's not gonna eat me?
He's not gonna eat you.
Okay, I'm a friend then.
Depends
In
on
that
your
case,
answer.
It's not the name that's on the bounty, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. Now I just have to remember to respond to it.
Well, you'll do that, won't you, Eric? Eric,
Are you going to eat them?
Considers it.
By the way, you have no clue what she's on about. Like, you've never seen one of these things before.
he's a vegan!
oh, what?
Definitely don't know what that is.
I don't care what he is. He's got big teeth.
You do have big teeth. Nothing.
Hero's grasp of the trade tongue is
Oh,
body.
do you? Oh, do you? What do you eat them?
Sort of looks back up. I will not consume that person.
Could you be a little more generic and just say you're not going to consume anyone in the city as well? Just to make it easier.
That'd be great.
So reverting back to Elvish, like,
Just try.
what language?
know?
I'm not gonna eat people.
I know you're not going to eat people.
Language is hard.
I know. Just say it the way I'm telling you to say it. I'm not going to eat the city.
I'm not gonna eat the sea. I'm
Yes.
not gonna eat the sea. I'm not gonna eat the sea.
Sam,
Mental image got too funny.
Why hands?
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
You.
Think they'd be afraid.
You look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, after that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds. And they looked at me and said, no.
You're sure he's not gonna eat me?
He's not gonna eat you.
Okay, I'm a friend then.
Depends
In
on
that
your
case,
answer.
It's not the name that's on the bounty, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. Now I just have to remember to respond to it.
Well, you'll do that, won't you, Eric? Eric,
Are you going to eat them?
Considers it.
By the way, you have no clue what she's on about. Like, you've never seen one of these things before.
he's a vegan!
oh, what?
Definitely don't know what that is.
I don't care what he is. He's got big teeth.
You do have big teeth. Nothing.
Here's grass.
We're back.
All right, then. So, yes, your orc chef is, looking at the fry pan in his hand and deciding that possibly he needs to go get his kitchen knife. And everything otherwise in the encampment has ground to a halt, other than some very nervous prancing by Boris and Alexei.
Is there
That
yeah.
was?
I mean, it was a very, very loud roar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cool.
Is it like the way you described it? You can't really tell which direction it came from, right?
Away from the river.
Away from the river, so like up
Yes.
into the hills.
Yes. So you are essentially camped along the edge of the river, with the carts in sort of a semicircle, on the basis of the fact that if there's going to be a problem, it's unlikely to be emerging out of the river.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Well,
Was it
yeah.
like the roar of like one large creature or
yes.
a number of creatures? One large creature.
No. Just because of the way Meisel looks at the universe, I think the thought is going, wow, that dragon's got a bad cough. Somebody's got a sore throat. Yeah, that scale of critter, yes.
Cool.
Yes. Spider will run in that direction to wherever the scout or watch is posted to see if they've spotted anything.
So the good news is you are sufficiently perceptive that the screaming, flailing individual coming tearing down the hillside is really obvious to you, avoiding the Keystone Cops moment of as you find each other. The problem is it takes a good 10 seconds to get coherence out of this poor fool. And that's when there's a lunar eclipse.
What is it?
Hey Michelle. Has
Yes.
it been a month since the last time we fought a demon?
No, it is not yet time for Smithers to have returned.
Okay, cool.
It has
Thanks.
been a month, but it has not yet. But you've still got a few. I think I have the date marked on the calendar, and you're a few days short of Smithers's warning about "I'll see you next full moon" or whatever it was.
I mean, well, we're not going to see him now because lunar
Yeah.
eclipse. Hey, solved it.
And at this point, I'm going to ask everyone to make a logic roll.
Oh, you know Alexandre's not logical.
Yeah, Spider definitely has this person like gripped by the lapels. It's like, what did you see?
16.
Yeah, GM. Yeah, we're all kind of having some odd camera weirdness. It seems to be alternating with who, but yes, thanks for letting me know. All right,
I
you
got
got a 6,
22.
22. Very good.
No, I need a D4, please.
Mm-hmm.
8.
Okay.
Alexandria is as logical as I would expect her to be at any given time.
So, of course, a lunar eclipse is generally a fairly gradual process. It does not just suddenly get occluded. This detail is not lost on Mysel. The other thing is that lunar eclipses generally don't cast large insect-shaped shadows. That little detail is not lost on Spider. In other words, you're looking at a creature that is standing the better part of 7 meters tall, and as it has come up over the hill ahead of you, it is sufficiently massive it is blocking the moon.
Yeah. So he grabs the scout and chucks them in the direction of get everyone armed and ready, and then he disappears.
So yes, the alarm is now ringing. Spider can also, with that 22, I will no perception roll required. You are aware of the fact that the ground around the thing's feet is moving.
That doesn't sound good.
So what you are looking at is, it would be a centaur if you drop the body, the human part of the body, in the middle of the torso, and then rotated the entire the entire lower body 90 degrees.
Right. It's a sideways horse.
Could you? Okay, cool.
But it's not a horse. It's an insect.
Could you say the thing you said, using as many of the same words as you did the first time? It's just a processing thing.
It would be a centaur if you ripped the torso off the front of the animal, moved it to the middle, put it down, and turned it 90 degrees, so that it is walking widthwise towards you on 4 legs with what looks to be a human body. If the horse was composed primarily of chitinous scale instead of horsehair, as they are more usually drawn. Yes, there we go, Muff. There we go, Jamie. You got it. It is mechanically, it is a large creature. It is a 15 by 15 facing. It is probably the better part of 25 feet tall, 8 meters.
What a face only a mother could love.
Face is a loose term.
I was just going to say, yeah, there we go. That's the description I needed right there. And face is a loose term. It has 3 eyes. They're at 60-degree angles from each other. So it's a triclops. 1, 2, 3. There is literally no way arc you can approach this thing without it seeing you. It's got full 360 vision. It has 2 arms, which split into 2 arms, which is really awkward because each of them is holding a trident. So that's that would be 9 times 27 sharp objects as it approaches.
Yeah, well, I mean, Spider, whilst invisible, is trying to get out of its direct path.
Yeah.
Is it like? Is this like a creature that we potentially could like be like, oh, that's a insert name here, or is this more sort of like this is a demon because it is a creature of chaoticness and
I'm just going to say at this point in time, you've all met Smithers. You've all met things like Smithers in the past. I think there's no question this thing to you is a Voidal Demon.
Good.
If anyone wants to roll, it's a DC 20 to actually recognize the creature as something you might have seen in a book while studying something else. And because of your background, I will give you advantage 1 for Mysel. But it's a DC 20. Otherwise, it's just this big frigging ugly thing.
Of what are we rolling? Learning?
You tell me. Why would you know?
Oh.
Learning is reasonable to me. Yeah, if you know, you're remarkably well educated for, you know.
Let me see.
Oh, so bad. Oh, wait. Hang on.
Could I tell you how I think Alexandri would know, and you tell me what role that would be?
Sure.
I think that at some point, Marcus would have been telling scary stories that were too scary for a young Alexandri. And Alexandri would have had nightmares for some time, but then also would have done that thing of like, I'm going to look in all the books to find pictures of the thing that scares me.
Yep.
And may have seen something similar. But I don't feel that that's learning necessarily is the thing.
Trying to learn. Recalling facts is and things that you've previously.
Yes. Maybe. So I think the best way of putting it, I would give you either learning or will, and I'll tell you why. Because will also is the ability to just keep doing something which, you know, it's maintaining your resolve, staying awake on watch, studying long hours, resisting. It's forcing yourself to do something that is not good. It does not feel good. And in this case, so I would say you could roll either will or learning in this case. The, you know, do you remember it or did you even get there? Right?
Yeah. I'm gonna use will because will is connected to my creation. So maybe La Chanson would want to help in that situation as well.
Do you ever have an instinct about like a character and then just out of interest roll the dice and have it completely backed up? I rolled a 4 on learning here, so Spider is like the fuck.
What the hell is that, and why would you bring that here?
If I didn't have advantage, I got a 5. I had advantage, so I got 16.
Okay.
I rolled a 10. Alexandri's probably seen it, but has no idea what it is. Like, she satisfied the need to see a picture.
Yeah.
But doesn't know what this nightmare is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like I say, no, though, you know, no question, it's a Voidal Daemon. It is beyond a shadow of a doubt the biggest thing you've seen. It ranks right up there on scale with Harrow. Right. Yes, Great Mustache actually has seen the future, and what Spider, because he's not fixated too badly on what is this thing's name, what is its lineage, where's the history book, he's just looking at how do I stop people from dying. You're going to realize that there's an awful lot of scorpion-like creatures rushing around this thing's feet as it strides forward, and that is the undulation you're seeing as they're kind of boiling around the terrain. And yeah, and by little I mean they're the size of a Saint Bernard.
So little.
Michelle, I'm 5'2". The Saint Bernard's half my size, a little over half my size.
Yes.
That's not little. Can we define little, please?
It's little compared to the thing they're following.
6 to a Chantel. That's not how that works.
How many of the quote unquote little creatures are there?
Many.
Ah, good. Good.
May I suggest that's too many?
So, mechanically, the players are going to have to deal with the big thing. Elena is going to be desperately attempting to keep the backs clear of the folks with crossbows who are defending the caravan, because she, for lack of a better way of putting it, one, she's not really keen on getting between a dragon and its target. Two, she's not really keen on getting between a teleporting assassin and his target. And three, her girl's got a temper issue some days, so she's not really interested in getting into that line of fire either. So she's going to be basically doing her best to keep the convoy safe, while the lieutenant and the troops lock and load and get ready for the fight of their lives as this swarm comes rolling down the hill towards them. So we're going to use my Twist of Fate rules to determine how that battle goes. Sort of the same way we did with the mill. If the battle is going well for the defenders, it will give you folks effectively advantage points. If the battle is not going well for the defenders, you can either take some damage or lose some troops. In other words, Elena will take damage to try and save lives. That's just her nature. So she's going to jump in the way of a few shots that would one-shot somebody else, but she also has a finite number of hit points. So or you can start crossing off NPCs.
Just after I've characterized 5 of these faceless NPCs.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Yeah, waited until you got bonded with them. Nah, boy.
It's not nearly much of a horror movie if no one gives a damn about the victims. So
Okay.
Now this thing, because of its size, has 15 feet of reach. Okay, that is 4 meters of reach. So, in other words, it's hard to dance with. It has a huge threat area. So moving anywhere near it is almost guaranteed to provoke attacks of opportunity.
Unless you were immune to those.
Yeah, unless you're immune to those, yes.
I think I might be doubly immune to those, actually, because of invisibility.
All right.
I gotta look at range. Okay.
All right, then. So, the first volley of crossbows, there's going to be the initial marshalling moment. What I want to do is get everyone to go around, and from a roleplay perspective, tell me how you are going to give the troops a chance. What thing are you doing? What speech are you saying? How are you going to give these poor buggers who are officially in over their head right now, because there's not one of these creatures that is not a daemon. All right? Nothing of this mess is of this world. All right? What are you doing to give them a fighting chance? Sam?
Well, I think as it's currently my soul not here at the moment, initially, my soul's going to try to redirect and confuse the big one, I guess. But he will also be able to do that to a number of the little ones. I'm just trying to remember how many. I don't know. A number of the little ones will also get swept up in that as well.
Okay.
And will be less effective, if
Right.
not, at least until they break out of the phantasm.
Right. Okay. what is Alexandra doing?
Alexandria basically has her own army, so she's basically gonna just yell at Granite to stay out of range of the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yell at Thornfang or think at Thornfang. If any of the things coming toward us smell good, it's a feast. It's feast time.
He likes you a lot now.
Yeah. Any of the things coming toward us, fair game. Have fun. Enjoy. And Scramble and Oat, she will tell to keep an eye on Gromer.
Right.
And
they'll go grab their sword and their shield, and they will protect Gromer. Got it.
That's not. No. What I'm saying is, stay here with me, but their job is to watch her.
Okay.
So their job is to keep an eye on her, so Alexandria knows, like they're basically the eyes in the back of her head, so she can focus on what's going on. But they are watching to make sure that she's okay in case Alexandria needs to change her focus.
Okay. All right then. I will ask all of you as the first. Have all of you heard the sound of a cocked crossbow?
Yes.
Okay.
Like personally or in character?
No, just personally, because the modern ones which are made with the synthetic fiber are actually fairly quiet. But the ones which are made out of a horsehair, which is a very common one, a waxed horsehair, when it comes under tension, it squeals slightly because the torsion and the compression of the fiber bundles. So when you've got a wall of 30 crossbow archers lined up, aiming down all of the bows, and these are military bows. You know, they're up into the, you know, a lady's bow would be about 50 kilos, 100 pounds, right? War bows cross the 250/90 kilo range in a hurry in terms of the cocking strength, right? These are the ones you use a lever to pull the string back. And so these things are all this keening, singing sound as they're all under tension. You hear the clack and shoot. You know, the lieutenant gives the archer, and it's this rippling clatter sound as all of that tension snaps forward. And those bolts go whistling into the darkness at the shadowy groups that are charging forward. Could I have all of you please roll a d8?
I didn't actually say what I was doing.
Oh, my apologies. I thought you had. Go ahead. What is I'm sorry. I'm having a moment.
What's that?
Character name, totally blank.
Oh, Spider.
Spider. I kept wanting to say Stagel for some reason, and I know I have no idea where that name comes
Stagel
from.
now. It's Stagel now. No, you changed it. It's Stagel now.
Makes note.
Spider. What is Spider? What is Spider doing to hold to help them hold the line?
Sorry, my mouse has died and I can't find the charger. But I think in keeping with the description of like how I think he's found like a hillock or something off to one side, and as the things are unleashing crossbow fire into the front line of these, Spider is so we haven't actually seen Spider's crossbow in ages. Like he's been he hasn't been carrying it around. And there's like this moment where you see, I can imagine that like cinematic shot of all the people firing their crossbows or whatever, and it like zooms over to the hill where Spider's like standing alone, and he looks sort of all ethereal because he's invisible or whatever. And he's just like shit, and he just like holds his hand up, and from like various pockets and like inside his coat and whatever, various mechanical parts just like float out and form into a crossbow in his hand, preloaded with like 5 separate bolts.
Wow. Okay, that is cool. I like that.
And this is the trick that he's been working on.
Mm-hmm.
Is the hidden crossbow. It's
Yes.
unassembled because he can just telekinetically bring it together. And
Nice.
yeah, he's just gonna fire like huge like barrages of bolts at the back of this force. He hasn't quite yet decided whether it's worth getting the attention of the big one, because he's not sure whether that's more of a Mysel and Alexandru problem.
Yep, reasonable. So, all right then. So, what I will ask those, I like all the descriptions. So, I will ask all of you to go ahead and roll that d8, and you will all get a +1 on your roll. Reminder that a natural 1 explodes down.
Does a 8 explode up?
Yes.
I rolled a 7 + 1 is 8. It does not explode.
No, does not explode. If you got an 8, that's
I
well above.
I got an 8, so with the 8 becomes 14.
Okay.
I rolled a 6 + 1, so 7.
All right. Hang on. So that's yeah. Okay. That is noticeably above average. So there's going to be the sound these things make is squealing insectoid pig. It's the best way of describing it. They flip into the air, you know, laying on the ground, spazzing around. Obviously, a bundle of misfiring nerves. And you know, and get trampled by the next wave of them coming down right behind them. Just completely oblivious to their own fall and just trample right over them.
You know, it's funny that you mention screaming insectoid pig, because
It's funny because I'd have gone something like.
if you've ever seen Starship Troopers,
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is vaguely inspired by Starship Troopers. The difference is what these things are. It looks like someone took a human being, broke all of their limbs the wrong way, twisted the head around, pried the jaw open, pulled the spine out and up as a stinger. So, and the rib cage is pulled open to make these spines on its back.
I mean, how's it sitting up? You know.
So
There's a reason the bones are on the inside.
So, you know, again, with this recurring theme with voidal daemons of anatomically improbable.
Michelle, could you remind me, please?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's not a reminding. I don't actually know. I know that Alexandre will have used creation, or tried to use creation, and any other time that she's tried to use creation, it hasn't worked on demons.
A better way of putting it is that mechanically, creation and entropy are
opposite,
diametrically opposed. So,
yeah.
And daemons, voidal daemons, are the ultimate expression of entropy. They're essentially living blobs of entropy doing entropy things. Yeah. So, yes, it's not that they don't. It's not that it automatically does not work. And also, other times that she has tried, she's been dealing with creatures where she wasn't quite as rocking a power scale as she is. Right now, you'd be dealing with a disadvantage, but you could take a shot.
I guess the
it depends what you wanted to do. You know.
The question is more, if you're just using entropy, nothing will happen. I feel like she's done this before, but I don't remember.
Oh, yes, quite commonly. They have 100% resistance to entropy.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool. That's what I thought, and I couldn't remember whether or not this has
Essentially,
been
if you go,
tested.
if you zap the entropy critter with entropy, it tends to go giggle, that tickled, and keeps going.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool.
Can you use creation as an attack against them? Just like not.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yes.
Just as a standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, in this particular, and it is a uniqueness to Voidal Daemons, is that essentially creation works as energy blast.
Neat.
I mean, I have a different coloring for it, but I would use.
Yeah, in the same way that they can just squirt entropy at you, you can squirt creation at them, and it's the exact opposite.
It just sounds messy. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be doing that one. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to be doing that one. Even saying it sounds messy. I am getting a phone call, so I will return anon.
Well, actually, if that is the phone call you've been expecting, we've got 20 minutes left in the session. Do we just want to wrap it? And we will pick up the actual fight next week?
I won't be here next week.
We're off for a month after this.
Right, okay. Well,
I've got it.
I'll tell you what, that's an excellent cliffhanger then.
I'm easy either way. I can go a bit longer today, but
yeah, you can still keep playing. I will be back.
Okay. All right, fair enough then. So we'll dig in.
I mean, I missed the call, so it'll come back anyway. So
fair enough. Okay. So yes.
Yeah, and I can also respond to typed messages as well. I would just have my camera and my mic muted. That's all.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I also know it's an important call for you, so I don't really feel like you're gonna.
Okay.
All right. So I suppose this would be that awkward moment where everyone rolls initiative.
It's not bad actually. 23.
I need to check. Yep.
All right.
Hello, yes, it's me. I rolled 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Goodbye.
All right. Alexandre is got a 15. What does Spider come up with?
37. We can still hear you, Chantel.
Oh, good grief. 37. All right. And yeah, Mysel.
Start doing like a feng shui style of like tape. What's the term? The staggered initiative, where it's like with a high enough initiative roll, you just move multiple times before the other person even gets to do anything.
That'd be nice. Can we do that?
Cyberpunk.
I have advantage too on all of these.
Yeah, the cyberpunk rules used to do that.
Oh yeah,
multiple. An initiative costs you. An action costs you 3 points of initiative.
Yeah.
So the catch is it also costs you a -1 on the next action, and they were cumulative. But if you were particularly with the solos who could open end on their D10 for their roll, it wasn't unusual to have two solos basically finish the fight before anyone else clear a bolster.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got 3.
You got a what?
23.
Wow, good roll. Okay. Now, yon beastly thing. Boopity boop. All right. Oh, good grief. You know something? It's been so long since I've rolled initiative. Yeah, that is
that one.
It's agility based, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done that. Okay. 2d6. It is not very quick. It doesn't really care about quick. All right. That's a 6 and a 1. 6 explodes. And that is a 4. So it's going on a 15. All right. Okay. All right, then. So as I have it, it will be Spider, then Mysol, then Alexandri, and then the monster, the daemon. Okay, so Spider, what is your cunning plan?
Shoot it till it dies.
That's not very cunning, but it is effective.
I've already done a bunch of the shooting at the big things, and I think there's just that moment where like the actual combat engages, and he's like, oh, fuck it, and instead loads the old big, like just a standard. He's going for the big thing now.
Yep.
Actually, there's this idea, because they're all like around it, right? So it's like right. This big thing is right on top of our forces, as well as the scorpion things.
Yeah, so this is the catch: is if you don't engage it, if the heroes do not engage it well away from the caravan, then it will be then they will be engaging it within stomping distance of the caravan, which is probably not what they want.
Yeah. But the scorpions have like sort of surged forward.
Right. The scorpion things are easily outrunning it.
Yeah.
But yes, if you choose to fight it on the front door of the caravan, it is almost impossible to stop this thing from damaging the caravan.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, I mean, the first thing Spider does is sort of like try to slow down time around him. And I'm going to try and invoke haste on myself.
All right, yep.
So remind me how I do these things.
First off, the question is power level. So the first thing you're going to do is whatever stat is applicable is you're going to roll that.
Yeah.
Subtract 10, divide by 2, and that is the power level of the effect you can generate.
Okay, so he's made agility because it replaces movement. Now, I have skill specialization in agility. Does that apply to the substitution to movement? It's like a advantage one?
I believe it does.
Okay. Because I know we're also sort of, it's not normal for a physical to replace an extraordinary, but we're in RP land. All right. Oh, that's a good one. That one I get to reroll. That's better. The D20 is only a 9, so it's 19, 26 plus 2, 28. So you said.
So you subtract 10. That's
18,
an 18. Divide by 2 is a 9.
So I can go.
You can go
power level 6.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're the highest you can go is your stat. Yes. So
okay, right. So now I get 20 extra speed, 2 extra guard, and I can make an additional major action each turn. But it gets disadvantage 3 if it requires a roll.
Right.
And it can't be used as an interrupt. So I guess I'll just shoot the thing from invisibility. Oh my god, there's too many buffs to keep track of now. Invisible. I'm pretty sure I get a plus to hit. Spider might have surprise from concealment. Right.
Oh, implications.
It says here I get yeah. Oh, so it has -2 guard unless it can see me. And I am invisible. So I don't know whether it can potentially see invisible things, but we can
shoot and find out.
Yep, that's it. But I get disadvantage 3 and advantage 1 for lethal strike. So it's 2 disadvantage.
We got a 5 and a 6. So the two lowest were a 5 and a 6, which is 11 plus 15, 26.
Brilliant. That is in fact a hit. And you said you decrease its guard by 3?
By 2.
By 2. Okay. So that gives it an effective guard of 21. So you will do 5 points of damage to it.
Nice. Is 5 the amount where I get to do a Bane as well?
Unless you have the Bane specialization, no, it is 10 points.
10. Okay, but it is silenced because I have silencing strike.
Very good.
So this thing might not have like a traditional old throat or face, but it has a bit below the eyes where maybe it talks from, and so you shoot it there.
Shot slightly below where the noise was coming from, and it's like, whatever.
It's sort of like that, right?
Oh, just gonna say, and the other thing too is, I mean, your character is literally messing with the flow of reality and time to suit himself. The bolt goes where it needs to go to create the, right down to the splash of what looks to be an electrical discharge when it hits. So gods and saints only know what it was where the bolt actually impacted, but it apparently had an effect based on the light show.
That's what we wanted to hear.
All right then. Very good, and that will bring us then to Mysel.
Yeah, so Mysel does want to sort of move the creature away from the caravan.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to try and hallucinate.
Sure thing.
And we're going to catch a couple of the other ones as well. I think it's like 5 creatures. So like 4 of the, All right. So this is against Resolve. Cool. Okay, so that is 15, 21. That's 30.
Excellent. Okay, that works. This is a straight up Bane attack, so you just need to roll. You just need to beat the resolve. So
yeah.
And a 30, is plenty for your power level. You're fine there. So yes, you will be able to ensnare this creature's formidable will, I might add. It basically is vaguely rewriting reality to suit itself in its own way. It is a corrosive effect on reality, is the best way of describing how this thing feels to you. But you are able to convince it of the things that that are not true. And what are those things?
It's essentially, without it really noticing, my soul is going to shift its view of things like 90 degrees ish.
Yeah.
So it and a few of its friends are sort of like, for everyone else, they just like veer off to the side.
Yep.
Suddenly. But they won't have noticed that they've done that.
Okay. All right then. All right, and then that brings us to Alexandri.
And they will get, if they, unless they've, where is it? They have disadvantage on their resist roll.
Yes.
Unless they are hit with damage while hallucinated.
Yeah. All right then. So the small critters, I'm mechanically, I'm not worrying about them. That is a meta space sort of engagement that is largely that, like I say, is going to be more narrative than functional. But yes, the big thing in the middle currently is walking, at a 90-degree angle to the direction of the caravan, convinced that it's still going the right way. And yes, so all right, we will give Alexandri a moment, and if she doesn't, if Chantel is unable to reply, then we'll pop back. and let it take its action.
Send in the plant.
Well, yeah, she does have a substantial army. Well, I mean, the plant is currently in the process of tangling itself up in one of them. Yeah. So yes, Granite is in the process of periodically throwing one of these things to the back of to the back of the room, as it were, to prevent it from for anything from sneaking up on Elena. And the plant is in the process of trying to origami one of them. So,
all
right.
Bring up the bolster boon, which
advantage on a particular stat.
Yeah. Bolster is essentially D&D aid. It's quite good. All right then. So, well, we'll just resolve the critter gets the demon, the archdemon gets 3 actions because it is a boss. So let's start out with the obvious things here. So the first thing it gets to do, of course, is resist. Yes, so it has extraordinary presence. It has huge, but it does not have any. But it does not have the strong-willed or whatever the equivalent is, where it gets advantage. So it's going to roll. It has disadvantage 1. You said on the on its resist.
Yeah.
All right. So that is a 13 and a 3. So yes, it is unable to resist. Now, I'm just taking a look here. Okay, yeah. It's okay. So it. I need to roll. Okay, 1 second here. Now here's a fancy question for you, Great Mustache. Boss has three major actions. Can it roll 3 resists in a row, or can it only do that once per round, as it were? That is something I wasn't able to actually find in the rules. It's probably there, but I couldn't find it. Okay, so I thought.
It
All
can.
right.
I think it uses up the move action.
Oh,
yeah.
Chanson was going to make a creation attack with musical notes attacking the eyes.
And then rolled a 13.
They rolled a 13.
All right. So the blade, there will be a searing blast of, golden music. It is not flowing, wavy. It is practically a laser of sound blasting out from her hands, striking the creature, and it completely ignores her. I.e., 13 is not higher than 23.
No.
Can use major action, move action. Yeah, and that's what I thought. Yeah, okay. That's the way I read the rules too, GM, but I just wanted to make sure I was reading it correctly. Very good. Okay. Now, alteration on what's all the alteration stat on this thing? It's 2d6. Okay. Wow, these dice absolutely hate this thing tonight. Yeah, okay. So it's only going to have 1d4. Okay. All
If
right,
it's trying
so
to target someone, no one is where they are actually standing.
no, exactly. No, it's just it has regeneration, so it's going to pick up. So it's going to recover 2 points of the 3 that Spider did to it. Alexandri's blast does no damage to it, so thus it gets no. It's not going to be sort of jolted free of its illusion. And yes, there's little. It will attempt to resist. That's a 16. And a 15. So, yes. So, on its second major action, so it has advanced the wrong way, for its full 40 feet of movement. So, as opposed to towards the group, this way 40 feet. And then, it does some things over here and blows up some trees and stuff like that, thinking that's something else important, and then kind of comes to its senses on its second major action. On its third major action, because it's going last, it just goes down. It just uses 1, 2, 3 after each other. It is going to first off make a learning. It is going to make a logic roll. That is 2d6. It gets advantage 3 on this roll. So that's a 5 and a 1. So we'll try and improve the 1 first. So that's okay. So I've got a pair of 5s with 2 dice left. That's another 5. And that's another 5. So, okay. So comes up with a 10, which is an average roll. Yeah, it's not really good. That's not really good enough to immediately look at Mysel and say, "Oh, you're the problem." So it is aware that it was confounded magically. It was unable to identify the source of the magic. And that kind of a check is a major action. So it will not actually inflict any damage on anybody this round. Although what it did do to a clump of trees was pretty spectacular. It's a patch of desert now. It just they just crumbled in on each other. The trees are now petrified fossils, and the patch of grass around it has withered, died, and the soil is sterile, has turned to sand. That's what one of its blasts did. Suggestion: don't get in the way of that. All right. All right then, and that brings us back up to Spider.
Right. Yep. That thing's terrifying. Cool.
Yeah.
Could be worse. Could be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's it. That is quite it. So it hasn't tried to spot me yet, so that's good.
Yes. It was a little concerned about whoever it was playing with its senses. It was obviously looking for them.
Now, my understanding is to do a focus action, which gets me advantage on my attack, I need to do nothing else.
Correct. Basically, you trade your movement action for...
we trade you everything.
Yeah.
Trade everything.
So your minor action, your movement action...
I don't know how that interacts with haste, which is granting me an extra major action.
Then you still have a major action when you're done.
Yeah, so I trade the normal amount of turn for the focused action.
Yes.
So the question is, do I want that extra advantage one on the disadvantage roll, or do I want one really good roll and one probably not so good roll?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think you could put it on the mate because the focused action is its own thing.
Yeah.
It's a specific thing. You've traded your major action, a major or
That
minor
makes
move,
sense.
and then to
Yeah.
get a major action with advantage.
Yeah,
And
that
then you
makes
get an
sense.
extra.
Major action with disadvantage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Okay, cool. I don't know if it's relevant. I hope it's not, and this thing isn't going to try and heal itself, but the 5 damage I dealt last turn is lethal damage.
Okay.
So yeah,
Actually,
I think
that is valuable because it means it cannot regenerate that.
yeah, that's basically what I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, that yeah, doesn't sound scary. Okay, cool. Well, then my first attack has. Oh my god. It has advantage 1 for lethal strike. It has advantage 2 for focus action. It has -2 guard for invisible, but that's not an extra advantage. I'm just gonna double check that.
Are we dying? Are we dying?
Not yet. We're doing okay so far.
Okay, because I'm back.
Yay!
So far, Spider shot it in the quote-unquote throat with what I'm picturing is a kind of armor-piercing, discarding sabot from a crossbow.
Okay.
Mysel then tricked it into going the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, your attack kind of just bounced
off it. Yeah. When I rolled it, I was like, heh.
which admittedly stopped it from because it didn't take any damage. It still had disadvantage on Mysel's thing.
Oh, convenient.
So,
You gotta love how failure is sometimes a boon.
Yeah. So, but it had all sorts of extra actions. So it just brute forced its way through it, resisting.
Oh, good.
That's true. It didn't resist the silence, though, did it?
Actually, it's an interesting question. I forgot to roll that.
I don't know if it gets an automatic. Well, because it uses its move as a resistance. It has to choose the bane that it's resisting. I don't know how that works.
The catch is with the
I don't know if it cares about being silenced. To be fair.
Well, no. Not mechanically, no. What interestingly enough, it actually would get because of the way the illusion, the hallucination ability works, it actually gets that resist for free. Because its brain is basically saying, I know something's wrong, because you can't because you are so completely caught up in it, you believe it, and so you wouldn't voluntarily resist. So you essentially, for free, get an involuntary resist, if I remember the power correctly. And so but the silenced, if it cares, yes, it will have to actually actively roll the resist.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I rolled with advantage 2 and -2 guard. So 18 plus an 8 and a 7. It's 15. Brain, sorry. That's 25, 30, 33.
Yep, that's it. That is, in fact, okay, so guard is 23 minus 2 is a 21, so you've done 13 points of damage. 12 points of damage, and that is enough to inflict a bane.
Okay, a bane. I don't think realistically I can inflict the blind bane on this 3-eyed thing, so I'm not going to go for that one as much as I would like to. I think what actually makes the most sense here, and it was just God. I think this was a poison bolt, and I will inflict persistent damage.
Sure thing. Okay. All right. Right. What is your stat cap for that? Because you basically wide opened.
1d8 per round.
1d8. All right. That is significant.
And then I'll take a second hurried shot in my hastiness and this one has, instead of advantage 2, it would only have advantage 1, but then gets disadvantage. It has disadvantage 2. Cool. Oops, sorry. Yep, that's not going to be good. Yeah, that's a 13.
Yeah, that is going to, for lack of a better way of putting it, literally veer to a 90-degree angle as it approaches and go careening off at a bizarre angle. Like, it doesn't actually get close enough to hit it. It just suddenly veers out at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right. So that brings us to Mysel.
So Mysel's going to sort of, because it moved away, so Mysel's going to have to move as well to be sort of close enough. And now, because it's not going to be tricked by Phantasm again for a little while, we're going to try something else. We're just going to cycle through the various mental incapacitation methods. We're going to do a stupefied this time. So basically going to create a kind of mental fog within the creature. We're not going to do that.
All right.
Because we're going to get a total of 10.
10. Okay. This thing has battlefield retribution for attacks versus its resolve.
Gross.
So, let me just double check on battlefield retribution. I believe it has to actively defend.
That's because that's what Chevalier had. It's if you make the defend action, anything that you roll above it.
Yeah. Okay. So in this case, because it doesn't have to make a defend, it doesn't apply. All right. So you're safe on that front. You will not have your brain electrocuted as punishment.
This time.
All right. And that brings us to Alexandre.
Is anyone hurt?
All right. Amongst the player characters, no.
Okay. I mean, that seemed like it was a sentence with a comma.
Oh, okay. Yes, because we actually did not roll our D8 at the beginning of this round. So let's do that now, and we'll find out if anyone's been injured.
All of us rolling D8?
All of you rolling D8, and
you with a +1?
Nope, that is done. That was the initial setup.
I rolled a 2.
I got a 6.
Okay, 2, a 6. Jamie?
Sorry, what do I need to roll?
D8. Ones explode downwards.
Right.
8s explode up. Twisting Fate.
Another 7.
Another 7. So a 1, a 6, and a 7. That's a 13. That's a 14 over 3. Iffy. So there have been some light injuries. Nothing that that is threatening to cripple the battle.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, how is Thornfang? Of all the people in this battlefield, I want to know how Thornfang's going.
For lack of a better way of putting it, it has. So you have the vague mental image of what one of these creatures look like. It's this massacred skeletal figure that's been horribly tortured and reshaped into a demon. And
Thornfang's not going for that.
Well, that's the only thing there is to fight other than the big thing, and you told it to fight the small things. So
Wait, it's going for the smaller things. Okay, I thought it was going for the big thing. No.
So it's got itself literally wound in a knot around one of these things, and the whole mess is rolling around. But it doesn't. There's nothing really for it to chew on, and at the same token, but it can squeeze really hard. So there's some really ugly crackling noises going on, but it's complaining that these things taste terrible.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. You can't blame me for not knowing. I did hope because Damon is often an enemy, and if you liked the taste, then it would be great. You should take it out on them.
They're awfully lean and don't seem to have any blood to speak of. So yeah.
It does suck. As would
No, it
you
doesn't.
if they
and
were
that's
tasty.
the problem.
Yeah. It's true.
All right. And then the thing goes.
Oh, I didn't actually take a turn though.
Oh, sorry. Yes, my apologies.
I was asking if everyone was okay or
Yes,
who was
no.
okay.
Yeah, my apologies. Yes.
I don't know whether to. Oh, how far away from it am I?
We will declare you. If you do not wish to commit a movement, you are at medium range, so you're disadvantage 1 for any kind of ranged blast.
I more meant how far away is that thing from me, not how far am I from it.
Okay, it is somewhere in the vicinity of 40 feet, so 12, 14, 12, 15 meters away. Basically, so it's actually slightly more than that because it didn't quite get to the group before it suddenly got confused and started walking parallel, so it didn't actually advance. It technically wandered away. So it's probably more like 15, 17 meters away by straight angle if you're standing back near the caravan.
Okay. And I heard half of a list of banes are on it. We've got
It is
resistant?
it has been it is currently silenced and is suffering from a damage over time, persistent damage.
Okay.
That is it.
I would like to try using light to blind it.
All right then.
It will be a creation roll versus guard.
Mm-hmm.
I just want my dice to be nice to me, you know? I just feel like there's something going on with my dice where, like, if they're rolling to hurt player characters, they're great. If they're rolling in aid of me... Oh, okay, no, we fixed it. Okay, cool. 14 plus 18?
14 plus 18, that sounds like a 32 to me.
That's what I've
Versus a 23 is a hit. It's plus 8, I think. No. Oh, my math is terrible. 32 minus 23 would be 9.
Yeah. So just
So you're
below
going to-
where I...
Yeah, so that is going
But
to
I'm
be...
aiming to apply a bane, though.
Yeah, so, but yeah, actually, yes. So the catch is you're actually trying to hit your power level. So so 32, you can easily generate enough power.
Yes.
And then the number also defeats its result. Its guard, which means that you actually not only do you generate enough power, you actually hit what you're aiming at. It's not its nose that's glowing or its hands that are glowing. It's the flare is concentrated around its eyes. Yes.
Good.
So
So
he's
yes,
now blinded.
blinded.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, you are muted. You are talking, but you are muted.
Sorry, you don't have to hit your power level for a bane.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You don't? What do you
It's just,
have to...
it's an attack.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's a main attack.
Boons are invoked, banes are an attack, so they just
Okay. So it's just all right. It's just flat up. Okay. So blinded. Cool. Persistent damage, blinded, and silenced. All right. Wow. What a mess.
But for how long?
Mm-hmm. So it seems to me that blinded means it's something like disadvantage 5 to actually target anything. So it's probably going to need to fix that. So I think that will likely be its first order of business. So we're going to do a couple. So okay. So Alexandra, you are done. Yes.
I believe so. Yes.
Very good. Okay.
I may move further away from it because I am squishy and small.
Yep. Reasonable.
Yeah.
You are but 1 Chantel high. Yes, exactly.
Actually, Alexandria is less than 1 Chantel high.
Oh, goodness.
She is smaller than I am.
That is indeed
Yeah.
small.
Yeah. Hey.
So...
All right.
Wow.
Well, at the beginning of its turn, it takes damage. It takes 7 damage.
7. Very good. All right. That's another 7. So it has healed 2 from its regeneration. And takes 7.
Another 5 of that attack was lethal. So
yeah. So that's okay. So I'm just gonna annotate that as. So that's going to be, and then 5 lethal, and then just another 5 regular, because it cannot regenerate the lethal damage. Okay, can regenerate the rest of it, cannot regenerate the lethal. Okay, very good. So the first thing it needs to do is get around that that blind. So we'll roll that, and it rolls a 7, so it remains blinded. That's okay, though, because it does have a solution for things it cannot see. That is called an area of effect attack. It is deafened, so it cannot. No, it is not. It is not deafened, so it can target by. It has a rough idea of where the sound of battle is coming from, so it's simply going to carpet bomb that area.
I think it's
That's the direction of you and the caravan.
Hang on a sec.
It's still a sizable disadvantage, but
oh yes, it's fine. Yeah. So it is a line attack. So I just need to double check.
I just want to say Alexandre moved after blinding it.
You did. That's why it has that is why it is a disadvantage 5.
Yeah. No, what I mean is her specifically. Range of attack, please.
All right, let me just double check here. Sam, you do line attacks fairly regularly. What is the rule on those?
It depends on the power level.
Okay,
there's 3 steps. Hang on. I'm guessing it's got 7 to 9.
Yes.
So any non-physical attack, it's going to have a range of 75 feet.
All right. So yes, easily can reach from where it's at straight back to whatever it might care to hit. That's the question.
And it can't do like long range shots like a crossbow can. You are limited to 75.
Yeah. Okay. So blam. So
it's exactly how far away it was. You said at medium range, right? Which is 75 feet.
So
almost like it knew.
All right then. So okay. So now it has energy versus guard. It has attack specialization 2. So that gives it advantage 2. It has also got boss edge 3, which gives it another advantage 3. So it, in fact, in spite of being blind, is rolling even dice. So that's 3d10 it is rolling to see if it can pot shot the thing that just zapped it.
Hang on. GM has just posted. The standard line is 10 foot long, and each segment beyond that is 1 disadvantage. I'm not sure how that applies here.
10 foot long, 5 foot high segment, so each segment is 1 disadvantage.
All right, so okay, I get it. Yeah, so if she's 40 feet away, as we commented, then that would be disadvantage 4 for the beam to get that far.
Well, you can start the beam at that 40. If the beam is like from their base out, then yeah.
Oh,
but like you can start it where you want to start it.
You can, yeah.
Alexandre's done the same thing. You can start the beam wherever you can start the area wherever you want to start the area, but the area is that size.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I get it. Okay, got it. Yeah. Sorry. There's another system I use where beam attacks start at and then extend outwards and then basically. So yeah. Okay, I didn't realize you could basically instantiate the beam wherever you wanted. No, that's
more
exactly.
Like
it depends like what
beam
how
hits and then like where it swipes across.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on like how the attack is narratively happening. Like you could potentially have it where it's like, yeah, it has to start from you and go out, but not necessarily.
All right.
Yeah, it depends. Kind of depends on what the beam looks like and where it's coming from.
Yeah. So for lack of a better way of putting it, this is literally one of its eyes are going to flare, and this blast of fairly incandescent purple green it's not fire. It's literally almost like a lighthouse beam that it just sweeps back and forth across the area that it wants to destroy.
Then
Yeah,
that
that's
would
what I
make
was
sense that
imagining.
it would originate at the monster.
Yeah.
At that point. Yeah.
So, okay, so that would be a disadvantage 4 for it to hit her. So I have a pair of 6s to reroll to see if we can make those worse. That is not making that worse. Oh, okay, so we got a 6, a 3, and a 2. Let's reroll the other 6. And that brings it down to a 3 as well. So it rolled a grand total, therefore, of 8. So yeah, it's basically, for lack of a better way of putting it, it's a microwave beam. It fries the ground as it rakes up towards where Alexandria is standing. It's just that it misjudges the distance to her, and the beams, basically the destroyed gap between it and where she is, stops about halfway. Didn't get to her, but yeah, it just completely destroyed everything in between, including a couple of its own creeps. It didn't seem to care.
Not a fan of that, but okay.
So it's done 1 resist, 1 attack, and then it is going to, for its 3rd major action, it will try another resist. It needs to get rid of that blindness.
The first resist is its move action, so it has, unless it's going to move.
Actually, it doesn't need to. It's basically all of its attacks reach the entire battlefield functionally, so it's basically behaving like a gun battery at this point. It's behaving like an armored tower. Is the better way of putting it.
Makes sense. A resist is a move action, and so you can replace a major action with a move, which is a resist. Yeah. So it still has 2. What I'm saying is I'm on the wrong team because it still has 2 actions left.
Yes, because it would have traded. So it has, yes, you are correct. Thank you. So it will trade.
Stop helping the giant monster.
So for its 2nd major action, yes, it rolls a 19. It will resist. So it is no longer blinded.
Rude.
That is gone. It has been resisted. And then it is going to look around. And could all of you please roll me a d8?
Oh, God.
2.
3.
-2.
I have some really bad news for you, Alexandria.
I mean, I feel like I've already given myself the bad news, but go ahead. You can help.
So yes, it is going to strike out at you again. Disturbingly, the way it does so is its entire head rotates so that the next eye is facing you.
So, yeah, I was about to ask about that. Why bother? Like, would you not use the same eye? Just seems a bit. But all right, fine. Like, if you want to be splashy with your eye.
They come out in different flavors. This one's Fanta.
Go off.
All right. And then, very disturbingly, it's going to rotate slightly again and slightly again. And you're all very aware of the fact that you can all see an eye. So it is going to be doing a multi-target entropy versus toughness. So it has attack specialization 3, entropy versus toughness, so it gives it 3. It also has multi-target specialist 2, which backs off the disadvantages for the second 2 targets.
Well,
yeah,
reduces it by 2.
Yes,
so still be disadvantage 1.
Yes, so disadvantage 1. So that's going to bring it down disadvantage to advantage 2, and then so it has advantage 5 on its attack.
Well, I don't like that.
All right, so that's a 7. Stop that. 7. That's a 10. That's a 1. And that's an 8. All right. So the 1 obviously, okay, so the 1 is going to get thrown out. So it's standard 3 dice that it has. So I have the 10, which explodes, and that is going to be a 14 all total. So let's see if we can improve the 7. So I have 3 dice remaining to improve the 7. That's a 9. So the 7 becomes a 9. That leaves me 3 dice to improve the 8. That's an 8. Does not improve. That's another 8. Does not improve. Last roll. That's another 8. Does not improve. So the total roll is a 14 plus 8 is 22 plus 9 is 31. 31. And that is entropy versus toughness.
At Alexandre.
At all of you.
At all of us.
A beam shoots out from each of its eyes, raking the ground around you and striking each of you.
Can it see me to do so?
You have been attacking it.
I've been invisible whilst attacking it.
Oh, that's right. You don't have to concentrate on that. It is a magical effect.
I do not.
Right. So it will then it will actually have to roll perception, otherwise it is going to wind up having a stack of disad to hit you, but the other 2 I think are still fair game.
So my toughness is 17.
Mm-hmm.
And my hit points are 32.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're okay. You're not dead.
I'm not dead.
Yeah. That's 14 damage. It's whatever. Don't worry about it.
Oh gosh, I just realized.
It's not all of it?
No, because I forgot to roll the d20s for the attack.
Oh. I was actually asking Sam. I was fully asking Sam because I couldn't remember if it's just a meet or beat as opposed to it subtracts from the total damage.
So the way it is you have to it is meet beats. So because the minimum damage
and then
so as long as it is a tie, then the attacker wins. Minimum damage 3 points.
Yeah. So then once it has met that, it's the remaining damage up. It's the difference. It's not. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
I was like, so that 31 then on my 32, but we haven't got a d20 yet, so we have yet to be there. Go ahead.
So the d20 came up 4.
Okay.
So it's 32. So instead of 32, 35, it's 36.
36.
Yeah. So
a nice, sensible 19.
Now,
is any of that lethal?
Nope. It was just it's a straight blast. It's it will inflict it because it, sort of walloped the 2 of you. It will inflict a couple of banes as a result, but yeah. So let's see here. Now, yeah.
Oh. Was it damage or bane attack? Is what
it was a damaging attack. It was a damaging attack, GM.
Okay.
Yeah. And so yes. So the next question is, did it see Spider? Allow me to roll that. What I will ask Spider is to roll a concealment typey thingy, so I know what the when we will do this as a contested roll. The way we usually do.
This one's really fun because while invisible, you gain advantage 3 to hide, or double that if still.
Yes.
So I have advantage 7 on this.
Brilliant, roll it, mate.
That's why I've been rolling already. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I've been rolling this whole time.
Okay. Yeah. Now, if I understand with advantage, an exploding dice, that's like 1 roll.
Okay, so yeah, so if you roll your dice, you take your highest. If any of the highest have exploded, then that explodes as though it explodes normally.
Yeah, so I've just been tracking each of the 9 rolls individually.
Yes.
Only one of them exploded, but it did double explode, which is cool.
Like if you had like 3 dice explode, you don't roll out all of them to see which one's best. You just get 2 dice exploding.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what I was asking. So you keep the... So if like out of my 9 dice, my highest are a 10 and a 9.
Yeah.
I don't like. I don't. If I get like 4 10s throughout the 9, roll each one of them as an explosion to see which one of those is the highest.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you work out what the 2 dice you're going to keep are, and then you explode from there.
In this case, that would have been the same because it would have been a 10 and a 9, and the explosion then hit a 10 again.
Yeah.
So it's a 23 plus 9 is 32 plus 12 is 44.
Okay, you are exempt. It does not see you. The blast incinerates incinerates is the wrong phrase. Horribly deforms and derealities a clump of trees a few meters away from you.
On a molecular level, it tells you no.
Did I say fuck yet?
I feel like it feels to Alexandri in this moment with things derealizing. Alexandri is just going to look at Gromer and be like, "What reality?"
Never said it was good.
What reality are you talking about? This is not reality.
Okay. So yeah. So that was entropy versus toughness. So you are both blind and deafened.
Isn't it per 10 over?
It has multi. No, I didn't do that. I was going to, and then didn't. I changed my mind. So okay, no, yes, you're right. Yes, it is per 10. I'm sorry. I thought I had set this thing up with multi-bane specialist, but it does not actually have that. I took it out because it was ridiculous. So yes, you will be blinded.
You took it out because it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay.
Yeah, it's nice to know we're not versing the ridiculous version of this creature.
At least when we die, we know it's not the ridiculous version.
There are some
skew in one hit.
Yeah, there are some power combinations. Multi-attack, multi-target, multi-bane on one ability stack is ridiculous. I just no. Yeah, the min-maxer in me goes giggle, but yeah, this GM, no.
You calm down.
So yes. Yeah. And so how much damage did you each take?
An amount.
Lots. I'm down at 19 now.
Yeah.
So you took about around 11 then or something?
Me?
Yeah.
Whatever.
13.
What? 36
how
minus
much
17 is what I took.
36 minus 17. Well, 36 minus 18 is 18. So, okay, you would have taken about 18 points. So we'll call it 17.
You took 17 and are now at 19.
Correct.
Yeah, 17 points of damage there. And what about Meisel?
I'm at 18.
How much damage did you take?
16, I think.
Okay, so 17 and 16 is 23. So, well, okay, so it will heal, well, 16 points. Lifesteal.
Less than great.
Really bad.
So the lethal damage, the lethal
it
damage sticks, but all of the other damage that's been done just goes away.
Yeah, so it's minus 10 right now.
Yep.
Cool.
And it roars again with that rumbling, shaking the hills kind of sound. That's not coming from a vocal box. It's incoherent rage is the sound.
With the sound. Oh, fuck you.
All right then. And it is 12:30 in the evening for me, so I think this is a good time. We will wrap up for now. So we will be taking a break while our dear Chantal is off being a globetrotter, and we will come back and resume this with the first thing happening being everyone rolling their d8 to see how the battle in and around the caravan is going. And the players will have a while to think about how they're going to get around this problem.
I have a fun cliffhanger for you guys because I already know what Spider's going to do next, regardless of how the battle's going.
I don't like that you referred to it as a cliffhanger, but all right.
Exactly. Having seen the swathi beams coming out of this thing's eyes, sure, the inner power gamer in me is like, just keep shooting at it. That's safe. You can do that. But Spider is now both proud and ambitious.
Oh, fuck.
And his idea is that the best way to get at those things precisely is to be much, much closer. And given that he can move over 100 feet in a round, there's going to be a blur of light as Spider zooms from the hill, jumps the 25 feet up to this thing's eyes, and is going to try and drive the cane sword into them. But we'll see what happens next time.
Love it. And you should write those 2 legend points down. You'll need them.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm going to use them.
You should also probably write that down because I would forget all of those good intentions, and I would forget, and then be like, and now I'm really close, and I don't know why I did that.
Why am I next to this creature?
Why
What
would I think
happened?
getting close is a good idea?
Yeah,
This is
part of my pre-game prep every night is watching the last hour of the previous episode so I can remember exactly where we were to get rolling into it. I'm already sort of mentally playing the game by the time we go live. So yes, I will. I'm sort of imagining what future Michelle's going to be thinking about this plan.
Well, you don't make a character who can like anime speed rush and jump and climb and not use it. So.
Oh, absolutely. It's brilliant. I love it. So yes.
Okay.
Alrighty, folks.
I'm
Thank you
making
so
a note
much.
for myself for future, and then I'm gonna, and then I will end the stream. The note to myself is, what do to support Spider's stupidity? That's the note I'm making for myself. That's all I've got.
I'll likely try really hard to turn the creature off for a little bit. It's fine. I don't think it'll last well.
I'm blinded. I can't see.
You're both blinded.
You just resist that. It's fine. Don't worry.
We will see you in roughly a month. I haven't looked at dates. I don't know how that works. It will be, like I'm back at a time, and it's about whether or not jet lag sets in and knocks me off my feet. So we will see.
Yeah.
But
you're rapping on the West Coast, or are you literally going to Toronto, West Coast, East Coast?
West Coast, up to Toronto, down, back to West Coast.
Okay,
then
that's not.
I'm doing a triangle.
That's not atrocious. Okay, yeah.
No. Oh no, I've done enough travel to know what is horrible. I'm gaining a day in my flight there, and I'm losing a day on the way back. So it's about when that day happens, and I'm time blind, so I can only tell you so much. So I will keep everyone apprised. Let's take us out. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye. Cheers. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Catch you in a month.